Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's new video. So before we begin, if you can please go through the trade disclaimer and understand that everything that I will be showing is only for education purposes only, is for entertainment, and anything shown is just my opinion. And also understand that I'm not a financial advisor. So let's begin. So let's start off with the Bitcoin chart. So as previous in my previous video, as we went through, we can see the scenario basically played off where we hit a push up and then a dump. So let's have a look at the previous channels. So this was the previous channel that was made on the bigger time frame, and what we can see, we rejected down to the middle of the channel, which is perfect. A nice area to take profits if you did take a short position. If you look at the local channel, which was done here, which was based on a lower time frame, you can see we have effectively, broken out of that channel. So what I would be doing is hiding that and creating a newer channel just to see where we could potentially go down. This is if we do follow that channel. So I'm just going to hide this channel for the moment and create a new channel. Okay, so the previous channel you're looking at was like this. The new channel I've made using, again, a higher time frame like the 12 hour, and it's something along those lines. Now it may look like, while we having these points where price is pushed out. So if we switch to the 12-hour time frame, you can see the channel fits perfectly, very nicely. So I'm going to hide the blue channel for the moment, just in case if we were to retest back in. So on this particular channel, it shows, potential for the price to come down to the lower part of the main channel. Now that doesn't state that that will happen, but it just gives us a good view to look at things. And one of the reasons we use this is because previously we've had channels, respected. So we need to be we need to use the same sort of format again to keep consistency with our plan. So as a result of this, as you can see, I'm now looking at a potential sort of bearish local channel. However, keep that in mind, price could easily break back up and enter the previous channel or test the low of the other blue channel at the top. The other thing I'm also going to be looking at is the higher level fibs. So in this sort of case, what you can see from here, this is the local trend based fib, and this was done based on a high to the low, back to the high to the top. And currently you can see price, when it did drop, we broke below that channel, crossed down, and we are still currently just sitting near the 886 area. So one of the things for me is, if we do go lower, the areas that I'll be looking at will be the 1.127 and the 1618. And it is possible that when price does break down, or if it does continue to break, I'd be looking for, a faster drop to the 1618 level, potentially a wick like we had earlier on today. So that's something I would look at. And again, one of the other things that would still be important for the the overall long-term trend is to not lose this particular level, which is the 53,000k level. If we do start to lose this, then obviously we will then start to create a bigger bearish structure overall. So that would be, the long-term sort of worry. But until that's occurred, I'm not too overly worried that this is going to happen, because if it does break, then as a natural thing, I'd expect a normal retracement back up to create a lower high at this point, and that's where I would then take my longer term, shorter entry. And this is if we break this. So currently, all I would suggest is to trade each level as it occurs. The other thing we also looked at was looking at particular liquidity levels. So on the 4 hour, let's hide this fib level here. And the other thing we had was we had a fixed set of liquidity here. Originally, when this occurred, price did get to that liquidity level, held, and we've now dropped further, which is perfectly fine. Now, what this can become from an order block is potentially turn into a breaker block. And what naturally can happen from this, where price comes down further and then comes back to retest it and then drops back down. And in that sort of scenario, we can then have a look at our plan where, is price going to hit that sort of level? And that is entirely possible because it would be in the realm of things where we have the confluence of the 1.127 with the lower part of the new channel. And let's hide the bigger channel just to make it easier to see. So if price breaks down, hits the lower part of the channel, this would be a good area for another liquidity grab onto the downside, where we could potentially then retest down to 1.1618. And again, down here at this sort of level, you've got multiple blocks. So what we're looking at is, let me show you. So you have a potential block over here, which was tested once on the higher side. So we can test it again potentially around here. There are to that middle point, and you can see there is liquidity here because it's these are 4 hour candles. Then you've also got potential liquidity in this zone down here, which is the 0.141, which can act in a way like price could potentially wick down, and then the candle close could occur further up, and then we can then potentially try to move up, and this would be we can then see whether we're going to test the high of that channel again, or whether we're going to try and break out. And if we fail to hold this level at this point over here, or we may start to go consolidate, then one of the things I'll be thinking, if it is consolidating, then it's potentially we're accumulating to try again to retest to go up. And that is something I would potentially look at closer to the time. But overall, currently, I would be looking at potentially something like this. And basically, depending on if Bitcoin does go further down, I will then evaluate the next position, whether we are potentially going to bounce from here or not, based on how Bitcoin reacts at this level. So if you are, it's not financial advice or anything like that, just for education purpose, but if you are, taking paper trades or any, or evaluating how this TA forms, then, at this sort of point here, we can expect maybe a retrace up to this level, and we can, potentially measure that. So if I hide these points, well, let's look at if price did come down here, how our fib level could potentially look. And what we want to look at is if we do touch, say, this point at 127, you've got the 1618 just above that liquidity zone. So if we load this up, it then gives us potentially a possibility price coming back up near maybe the 0.5 and even retesting the one, this local 618. But again, we'll have to see if once price reaches there. So that's really it, what I'm looking for BTC from a sort of normal TA perspective. The other thing I want to be looking at is now from an indicator point of view. So from an indicator point of view, we're looking on the 4 hour chart, and we can see we've broken the RG and the RG bands. which has moved down around here, and you can see there's a higher push in the sell volume. There is buys volume at present moment, which you can see highlighted by this green oscillator line. If we now look onto the daily side, the thing for concerning is that the bullish volume has now dropped below the bearish volume. So there is a potential chance, based on the daily, that we could push further down, and this would be adding to our overall case where we potentially could see a move down to the 1618. So again, this is not financial advice, but that's what I believe it should be heading towards. And ideally, if I'm taking short positions, I would be adding to each sort of pullback higher up to then take the position down until we see a completion of the move. So that's it from myself in regards to the BTC update. Thank you again for tuning in, and do support the channel. Do hit up the likes, share the videos, and do support the channel. And if you are looking to trade, do use our Bybit link. Thank you again. Take care, and have a great day.